Om Namo Narayana. Welcome back. Today we are starting the Tehu Bindu Upanishad and we're going to read the first section today. Param Dhyana, the supreme meditation, should be upon Tehu Bindu, the seed or source of spiritual light, which is the Atma of the universe, which is seated in the heart, which is the size of an atom, which pertains to Shiva, which is gross and subtle, and also above these qualities. That alone should be the dhyana of the munis as well as of men, which is full of pains, which is difficult to meditate on, which is difficult to perceive, which is the emancipated one, which is decay-less, and which is difficult to attain. One whose food is moderate, whose anger has been controlled, who has given up all love for society, who has subdued his passions, who has overcome all pairs, who has given up his egotism, who does not bless anyone nor take anything from others, and also who goes where they naturally ought not to go, and naturally would not go where they like to go, such persons also obtain 3 in the face. Hamsa is said to have 3 seats. Therefore know it is the greatest of mysteries, without sleep and without support. It is very subtle, of the form of Soma, and is the supreme seat of Vishnu. The seat has 3 faces, 3 gunas, and 3 dhatus, and is formless, motionless, changeless, sizeless, and supportless. The seat is without upadhi, and is above the reach of speech and mind. It is savana, reachable only by bhava. The indestructible seat is associateless, without bliss, beyond mind, difficult to perceive, emancipated, and changeless. It should be meditated upon as the liberated, the eternal, the permanent, and the indestructible. It is Brahman, it is Adhyatma, and is the highest seat of Vishnu. It is inconceivable of the nature of Chitatma, and above the Akasa. It is void and non-void and beyond the void, and is abiding in the heart. There is in it neither meditation nor meditator, nor the meditated nor the non-meditated. It is not the universe, it is the highest space. It is neither supreme nor above the supreme. It is inconceivable, unknowable, non-truth, and not the highest. It is realized by the munis, but the devas do not know the Supreme One. Avarice, delusion, fear, pride, passion, anger, sin, heat, cold, hunger, thirst, thought, and fancy, all these do not exist in it. In it there is no pride of belonging to the Brahmana caste, nor is there the collection of the knot of salvation. In it there is no fear, no happiness, no pains, neither fame nor disgrace. That which is without these states is the supreme Brahman. Forbearance, religious observance, renunciation, silence, according to time and place, posture, seeing all bodies as equal, the position of the eye, control of the breath, subjugation of the senses. These are spoken of as the parts of yoga. That is called yama, in which one controls all of his organs of sense and actions through the vijnana, that is Brahman. This should be practiced often. Niyama, in which there is the supreme bliss enjoyed through the flowing of the mind towards things of the same spiritual kind, and the abandoning of things differing from one another, is practiced by the sages as a rule. In renunciation, one abandons the manifestation or objects of the universe through the cognition of Atman, that is Sat and Chit. This is practiced by the great, and is the giver of immediate salvation. The silence, in which, without reaching Tat, speech returns along with the mind, is fit to be attained by the yogins, and should be ever worshipped by the ignorant. How is it possible to speak of that from which speech returns? How should it be described as a universe, as there is no word to describe it? It is that which is really called silence, and which is naturally understood as such. There is silence in children, but with words latent, whereas the knowers of Brahman have silence, but without words. That should be known as the lonely seat, in which there is no man in the beginning, middle, or end, and through which all this universe is fully pervaded. The illusion of Brahman and all other things takes place within one twinkling of his eye. That should be known as asana, in which one has, with ease and without fatigue, the meditation, and without fatigue and uninterrupted, the meditation of Brahman. That is described by the word time. That is endless bliss, and that is secondless. Everything else is the destroyer of happiness. That is called the Siddhasana, or the Siddha posture, in which the Siddhas have succeeded in realizing the Endless One as the support of the universe containing all the elements, etc. That is called the Mula Bandha, which is the root of all the worlds, and through which the root Chitta is bound. It should be always practiced by the Raja Yogins. One, after having known the quality of the parts of yoga, point to one and the same Brahman, should be absorbed in that equal Brahman. If not, there is not that quality attained. Then, like a dry tree, there is uniformity throughout. Making one's vision full of spiritual wisdom, one should look upon the world as full of Brahman. That vision is very noble. It is generally aimed at the tip of the nose. But it should be directed towards the seat of Brahman, wherein the cessation of the seer, the seen, and the sight will take place, and not towards the tip of the nose. That is called pranayama, the control of breath, in which there is the control of the modifications of mind through the cognition of Brahma in all the states of Chitta and others. The checking of the conception of reality of the universe is said to be expiration. The conception of I am Brahma is inspiration. The holding on long to this conception without agitation is cessation of breath, such as the practice of the enlightened. The ignorant close their nose. That should be known as pratyahara, through which one sees Atman even in the objects of sense and pleases Chitta through manas. It should be practiced often. No, through seeing Brahma wherever the mind goes, the dharana is meant that state where one indulges in the good thought, I am Brahman alone, and is without support. This dhyana is the giver of supreme bliss. Being first in a state of changelessness and then thoroughly forgetting even that state owing to the cognition of the true nature of Brahman, that is called samadhi. This kind of bliss should be practiced or enjoyed by a wise person till his cognition itself is united in a moment with the state of Atman. Then this king of yogins becomes a siddha and is without any aid outside of himself. Then he will attain a state inexpressible and unthinkable. When samadhi is practiced, the following obstacles arise with great force: absence of right inquiry, laziness, inclination to enjoyment, absorption in material objects, tamas, distraction, impatience, sweat, and absent-mindedness. All these obstacles should be overcome by inquirers into Brahman. Through worldly thoughts, one gets into them. Through void or empty thoughts, one gets into them. But through the thoughts of Brahman, one gets fulfillness. Therefore, one should develop fullness through this means of Brahman. He who abandons the thoughts of Brahman, which is very purifying and supreme, that man lives in vain like a beast. But he who understands this, and having understood it, makes advances in it, and becomes a good and blessed person, deserving to be worshipped by the three worlds. Those who are greatly developed through the ripening of their past karmas attain the state of Brahman. Others are simply reciters of words. Those who are clever in arguments about Brahma, but are without the action pertaining to Brahman, and who are generally attached to the world, those certainly are born again and again in this world through their ajnana. But the former never remain, even for half a moment, without the thoughts of Brahman. When a cause is subject to changes, it as an effect must also have its cause. When the cause ceases to exist in truth, the effect perishes through right discrimination. Then that substance which is beyond the scope of words remains pure. After that, vritti jhana arises in their purified mind. Through meditation with transcendental energy, there arises a firm certitude. After reducing the visible into the invisible state, one should see everything as Brahman. The wise should ever stay in bliss with their understanding full of the essence of Chit. And thus ends the first part of this new Upanishad we're delving into. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Jai Shri Krishna.